All right. Almost. All right, here we go. Okay. Everybody is still with us. All right, good evening, everybody. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Michael Barrio, and I'm the Executive Director of the Santa Fe Housing Action Coalition. And I'm super excited to host our second in a series of info sessions and training sessions that focus on the New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority's Homeowner Assistance Fund and the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration's Emergency Rental Assistance Program at renthelpnm.org. So just for a little context, as the federal eviction moratorium comes to an end at the end of this month, people across the state have become more and more worried about what that means for them. What does it mean for our communities? What does it mean for our families? And what it means for us as a statewide community, right? And our priority at the Santa Fe Housing Action Coalition is really to promote housing and affordable housing for every single New Mexican. And that means supporting and pursuing housing policy that creates an equitable housing landscape for all of us. But it also means that we help to promote the good work of many organizations, community leaders, and stakeholders across the state that are working to provide real-time assistance to our communities. So I'm super happy that I can host tonight's information session on the New Mexico Homeowners Assistance Fund. Tonight's going to be a really great opportunity for you to learn more about the program or learn about it at all if you haven't heard about it, how it works, who's eligible to apply, and you'll also have an opportunity to ask questions and get answers in real time. So thanks to our co-hosts, the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration and the New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority, but also the New Mexico Coalition to End Homelessness, the Supportive Housing Coalition of New Mexico. Thank you for your collaboration, your support, and your important work that you do. I'd also like to now introduce our guest, Donnie Quintana, Director of Local Government Division and Emergency Rental Assistance Program Director at the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration. Bet you can't say that 5 times fast. He's going to be leading our discussion and overview tonight, so thank you for being with us again tonight, Donnie. I'd also like to introduce new with us tonight, Amanda Mottershead Aragon, the Assistant Director of Asset Management and the Program Manager for the Homeowners Assistance Fund at the New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority. So thank you, Amanda, for being with us this evening. And then, of course, I'd like to also introduce and thank our interpreter, Ruth Lopez, for once again joining us tonight and helping to get our message out to everybody. So thank you so much for providing this really important service. And on that note, a note on translation. If you'd like to hear this translation of this program in Spanish, first you're going to want to click on the globe icon on the bottom right-hand side of your screen in Zoom and select Spanish. And then next, you're going to want to select mute original audio to mute the simultaneous English audio. And that's it. So you should now be able to hear the program in Spanish and in real time. And with that, I'll let Donnie take it from here.
Well, good evening, everyone. Michael, thank you so much for hosting this event. And it's a pleasure to have you on the line with us, Amanda. And obviously, thank you just to Lisa for your assistance in making this possible. And of course, none of this would be possible without Ruth. So thank you so much, Ruth. It is my great honor and pleasure to be with you today. Definitely would like to share as much information as possible and allow folks in the audience to ask as many questions as need be so that we can provide the most up-to-date information that we have available to assist. I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to encourage folks to please go out there and get vaccinated and ensure that we can all get back to some level of normalcy. So please, if you have not received a vaccination, that you really consider going out there and capitalizing on the incentives that exist within government to encourage folks to get vaccinated. So with that, if we can present the slides, please. Great. So it's important that We know that this program is called the New Mexico Housing Assistance Fund, or often referred to as HAF. Unlike the other fund, that is the Emergency Rental Assistance Fund, this fund is dedicated to homeowners. So what you see in front of you is my contact information, Michael's information, as well as Amanda's. Please, by all means, feel free to contact any of us with any questions, any follow-up questions, any information that you would like, or any recommendations or suggestions. We definitely encourage feedback. Next slide, please. So what is the Homeowner Assistance Fund? Well, the Homeowner Assistance Fund is a program, again, where folks are going to be eligible because they're household homeowners. And in order to be eligible for the fund, let me take a step back. The program was designed to help folks as a result of the pandemic. We all know that the pandemic has brought a tremendous amount of financial and economic challenges beyond just a health crisis. So the program is designed to help those folks that are enduring some financial, economic tough times as a result of the pandemic. This is a support system and a program really designed to help people. So who's eligible and how does the program work? The funds can be used to prevent mortgage delinquencies. So if you owe mortgage, if you are behind on your mortgage and need to get caught up so that you do not go into foreclosure, the program is designed to help you with some delinquencies. Again, it's to prevent mortgage defaults. And one of the goals of the program is to ensure that we keep people in their homes. We do not want people to become homeless as a result of the pandemic. So one of the objectives is to ensure that we prevent homelessness and we prevent housing instability. So again, the last bullet there, we don't want to displace any homeowners. We want to ensure that we can provide you assistance. The critical thing to remember about the program, in order to be eligible, is you have to be a homeowner and you have to have incurred a financial hardship. And the financial hardship can be from losing employment, to being furloughed, to facing financial challenges, possibly multiple deaths in the family as a result of the pandemic, unforeseen cost that may put you in a financial strain. So there could be a variety of reasons for financial hardship, okay? Next slide, please. Again, who is eligible for HAF? You must be a New Mexico resident. I'd like to take this opportunity to let you know you do not have to be a US citizen, but you have to be a New Mexico resident. The property must be the homeowner's primary residence. The program is designed to help you with your primary residence and not any rental units that you may have, secondary homes or things to that nature. The annual gross household income must be 100% or less of the area median income, adjusted for family size. And this is driven by county. So we have county information for your respective counties on what determines what is that threshold. And in this case, I believe we are actually going to use the national level area median income to determine that, but we can get more into that later. Certify that there's financial hardship, as we mentioned, after January 21st, 2020. So if you have incurred financial hardship, it can go all the way back to January of 2020, where you started incurring financial hardship, and we can assist you. Applicant's original loan amount must not be greater than $417,000. So if you secured a loan to purchase a home, it cannot be greater than $417,000. Must certify that the home is in the applicant's and is responsible for the monthly payment. Here, we are basically getting at that you are the homeowner, and the home is your responsibility, and you are responsible to make the monthly mortgage payment. Households that have already received housing cost assistance from another program are not eligible for additional funding. This is to speak to duplication of services and benefits. If you are receiving assistance through a variety of other programs, you will not be eligible for this program. Next slide, please. How much money can I receive under HAF? How do payments work? Recipients can receive assistance up to $10,000 per household for eligible monthly housing cost. Let me repeat that, up to $10,000 per household for eligible monthly housing cost. Recipients can receive late fees associated with the delinquent monthly cost. I'm sorry, can we go back to the previous slide? Okay. Recipients can again receive late fees associated with the delinquent monthly cost. Housing cost assistance awards may be made for a cost incurred again January 21st, 2020. That date is important to note because that is the date that makes folks eligible to start recognizing financial hardships. Payments will be made directly to the housing provider. So if you are you make an application and you are eligible and deemed to be eligible, the award will go to your mortgage service provider, your escrow company, or wherever the debt is being managed. So it will not go to you directly. It'll go to the mortgage service or the escrow company. Okay, next slide, please. What documents do I need to apply? There are two types of documents you need to apply for HAF. Documents for income source. So we need to be able to verify your income source. The second set of documents are documents for assistance types. What are you looking for? What are you requesting assistance? We need to have documentation to verify that that information is accurate. Next slide. So here before you see the application income sources, and I'll just go through a couple of them. So employment wages, we're looking for 3 current paycheck stubs or employer sign form or a letter confirming your wages, something that verifies your income. Or importantly, if you saw a reduction in your income as a result of lower hours or being furloughed, we want to see that. If you can show that you were earning X amount of money before the pandemic, and then once the pandemic was incurred, then your income was below that, we want to be able to illustrate that because that obviously illustrates a financial hardship. If you are self-employed, we want to see your profit and loss statements from your financial statements. We want to look at the 3 most relevant months. We want to be able to confirm that you indeed are recognized in a financial hardship. Net rental income, income from interest-bearing assets. Basically here, we're just looking for the most recent statement that can give us validation for those figures. If you receive Social Security, pensions, retirements, we just want to have your current benefits letter will meet that requirement. Unemployment insurance, workman's compensation, severance compensation. We just want to look at your payment history reflecting gross benefit amount, deductions and recent payments. Anything again to illustrate where your current financial income status is. Any public assistance, if you're receiving any variety of public assistance, we just want to be able to look at your current benefits letter. If you're receiving TANF support, Medicaid, Medicare, or any of the other programs, we just need the current benefits letter. Child support, family support, or alimony, same thing. Your current benefits letter will be taken into consideration. Armed forces pay, the last 2 current statements or your pay stubs will be sufficient here. Next slide, please. So assistance types, here's where you get into what different type of assistance that you may be requesting. Mortgage homeowner loan assistance. This is basically to be able to keep up or catch up to your loan payment in the event that you owe back payments. What we're looking for in regards to documentation could be your current unredacted loan statement. Unredacted means that you did not black out anything on the statement itself, the loan statement. Current unredacted past due notice that you may have received from your service provider, mortgage company, escrow company. Unredacted reinstatement quote from the servicer. So if you've received a document or a statement basically saying, this is the quote, the amount of money that we would need in order to bring your account current, that would be sufficient. If you are in a real estate contract and you're seeking assistance, what we're looking for is current escrow payment statement, balance due notice, current unredacted restatement quote. Again, these basically highlight the ability to validate the information and, more importantly, for us to be able to determine the size of the award and what you're eligible for. If you are in a mobile home or a manufactured home loan and requesting assistance, evidence that can assist us to make that determination are things like current mobile or manufactured home loan statement or current unredacted reinstatement quote. Basically the same thing, something that can verify what is owed and where you currently are in regards to the amount owed to the service provider. Mobile or manufactured land load assist, land. So this one talks specifically about land. Evidence of total balance due broken down by the month. Current mobile or manufactured home loan statements or current unredacted reinstatement quote. So you can see that it's pretty comparable to the regards to the documentation we are requesting, contingent on the type of assistance, but it's basically things that really identify your current status, how much money is owed, and can verify that you owe the money. Property taxes, evidence of total balance due, your current property tax bill. If you're requesting assistance with your property taxes, what we need is your current property tax, how much you owe on your property tax. If it's not defined in your escrow statement, then we definitely want to see your property tax bill. Homeowners insurance. Here we want to be able to take a look at your account ledger or current policy, something that verifies what your amount is that you are paying on your homeowner's insurance. Next slide, please. And if I may, it seems like a lot of documentation, but I think the reality is these are documents that you will have. If you are in a situation, any of those and requesting assistance type, you're going to have that information and those documents, and they will be able to be provided to you by the various service providers or insurance companies or counties for property tax bills. So if you don't have them, you can definitely secure them. So where do you apply? You can go to housingnm.org or you can call 505-308-4206 and or 866-488-0498. Again, you could either go to the website, housingnm.org, or you can either contact either of those telephone numbers to make application or gather additional information. And or if you have questions, if you are in doubt, if you are eligible for the program, I would encourage you to visit the website. And if you still are in doubt, please contact either one of those two numbers, and the staff would be very happy and amenable to assist you in answering your questions and helping you determine on whether or not it's worthy of you to apply for the program. Applications can be dropped off at New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority. Their address is 344 on 4th Street Southwest, Albuquerque, New Mexico. The zip code is 87102. Completed applications may be faxed. If you are unable to personally drop it off, you can fax the application, again, to New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority. Attention, New Mexico Housing Assistance Fund, fax 505-242-2766. Next slide, please. Okay, so that covers the Homeowners Assistance Fund. And please, by all means, be able to recognize that that program is designated to help homeowners. What we're going to talk about here for the next few minutes is how do you apply for the emergency rental assistance program. This program is designed to help renters. The state of New Mexico received $160 million of federal aid to grant to New Mexicans for rental and utility assistance. The reason it's $170 million on the slide is we are pleased to announce that we have partnered with the city of Albuquerque and implementing a program collectively together to cover the city of Albuquerque as well as the state of New Mexico. Where can New Mexicans apply for assistance with rent? Well, that's at www.renthelpnm.org. No spaces, no dots between renthelpnm and .org. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that if you live or rent in Bernalillo County outside of Albuquerque city limits, you can apply to www.bernco.gov/rent. Why is that? Because Bernalillo County also received their own allocation of awards to support a program for their respective county. So if you are outside the city limits of Albuquerque, but in Bernalillo County, you will apply for emergency rental assistance with bernco.gov. Same situation, if you live in Donna Ana County, you will apply for assistance through donnaanacounty.org/rent-utilities-assistance. For the remainder of the state, minus Bernalillo County and Donna Ana County, you will apply to www.renthelpnm.org. Next slide, please. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity to share some information to you with these two valuable, great programs that are designed to really help New Mexico citizens and folks in their time of need. I would highly encourage you to ensure that you gather as much information on the programs, but if there's any doubt on whether or not you should apply, I would encourage you to apply. Give us the opportunity to assist you, give us the opportunity to help you in their time of need, and please by all means know that we're here to support you. So with that, Michael, thank you again so much for the opportunity to share such valuable information with the folks out in the audience. Myself and Amanda are available to answer any questions or provide additional information. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Donnie. And and thank you for just doing the work also. Before we go over to move over to questions, I wanted to give Amanda a chance to add anything if she wanted to add anything, or let's let you take it away for a minute, Amanda.
Thank you. I think probably the only thing that I would like to add, just to kind of say what Donnie said, was that we do have the phone lines available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So if you have questions or about applying, there's reviewers who will actually be reviewing the files that can assist applicants through the online system or mail paper applications if there isn't the ability to apply online, and just answer any questions that anyone has about the program and assist that way. So definitely reach out if you have questions about applying or you just need more information.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amanda. All right, so I want to go ahead and move over to the question and answer portion. I feel like it's a really important piece of these sessions. I think there's a lot of times that whenever we're looking at these kinds of programs or trying to apply for things, we often have a few questions. So I think it's just important to give people that opportunity. So it's really simple. I'm going to go through and keep an eye out for questions in the Zoom chat. And we're also going to keep an eye out for any questions in the comments section from the Facebook Live broadcast. So in Zoom, if you're in Zoom, just raise your hand in Zoom and pop your question in the chat. Easy as that. And on Facebook, you're just going to want to post your questions in the comment section, and we'll get to each one by one. So I see that we don't have any questions in the Zoom chat, which is great. But if you have them, please feel free to post them. Do we have any questions in the Facebook comments, Julissa?
No, we don't.
All right. Well, then I can move on to one of my questions. Oh, all right. We have a question in the Zoom chat. So, question about receiving under other funds already and being uneligible. So this person applied for the first round of funding offered by MFA and was given $4,000 in help. But there was an existing arrears of $14,000, which has climbed since then. And had this person known that a higher limit of funds might have been available, they might have waited. So is it true that this person would be ineligible for this round of funding?
So the previous program had 3 rounds, and you couldn't apply in any subsequent round for that previous program. But this is actually a new program with a different funding source. And so previous funding from any other program wouldn't prevent you from applying for this new HAF program, as long as the periods don't overlap. So if that 4,000 covered a period in early 2020 and the payments were applied to that period, anything after the previous payment made could be covered by this new new assistance if the applicant was eligible.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Amanda. A question that I have. So I think it's really great to know, one of the eligibility criteria is, surrounding AMI or area median income. So just for like the average folks out there, Donnie, where can someone find out what, what the area median income and percentages are, in their area to help them understand, where they stand in terms of eligibility?
Yeah, a good starting point would be to look at, go to the Department of Housing and Urban Development's website, and there you can find lots of tables, lots of information in regards to respective states. I believe they even break it down by zip code. So there's a lot of information that you can gather there. But I would suggest that if there's any doubt, please contact the 1-800 number, and folks will really help you to ensure that you get accurate information. So please, if there's any doubt about that information, let us help you.
Awesome. And then I have another question. What about, and maybe you already mentioned this, but I didn't catch it. What about citizenship status? Does that impact eligibility?
I'll let Amanda answer for HAF, but I will tell you on the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, it is not. You do not need to be a U.S. citizen to apply or be eligible. And I think just as important, the information that we gather to determine eligibility or the size of an award is only solely used for that purpose. The information is not shared with any other state agency, with any other federal agency. So your information will not be sent or forwarded to anybody else, but for us, for our purpose.
All right, awesome. We have another question coming in. Is there anything a third-party entity, in this case, a housing provider, can do to proactively assist in screening and or making a referral go more smoothly?
Amanda, do you want to answer on behalf of HAF? And I definitely will answer in regards to ERAP.
Yeah, for housing providers, I think that I don't think that for our program that there will be a lot of assistance on the part of the housing providers, but if there's like a service provider or some other agency that would like to assist applicants to apply for the program, it would just be probably to review the eligibility criteria on our website or at the beginning of the application to kind of make sure that it seems like the applicant would qualify, and what the acceptable documentation that Donnie went over, just making sure that they have all of that acceptable documentation before they begin to apply, either through the online system or submitting the paper application. That would be very helpful if someone's assisting applicants to apply.
Yes, and in regards to the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, there is an opportunity for folks to assist in having applicants submit an application, but it has to be where the applicant is willing to allow for the assistance, but more importantly, they have to be involved in the process. The other thing I would mention is that there is the opportunity for what the Department of Treasury refers to as fact-specific third-party proxy validation. And what does that mean? That means that we can work with our Human Services Department to identify individuals that may be eligible for some of their programs income-wise, and it's been validated and certified that they would be automatically eligible for our program. So there are opportunities that we can capitalize on existing data to be able to ascertain some of the income eligibility or some of the eligibility information.
Great. Let's see. So I also have maybe, I mean, this is a simple question, but I feel like a lot of people had it, especially in the last session that we had. What does turnaround time look like in terms of, you know, time from application to receive the funds?
Amanda, if you want to answer first, I'll go ahead and answer after.
I think for ours, for our program, it's probably going to be about 3 to 6 weeks total. With the program just starting, it's probably taking a little bit longer initially, but I think that once we're into the rounds, it moves along faster. The only thing that we've run into that we really can't help is the slowness of the mail time, since all of this goes directly to the service provider. It takes us about two to 3 weeks to review and approve the application, but the mail seems to kind of take things a little bit longer. So it extends that time from the point of application to the point when the mortgage servicer actually receives the payment.
Okay. Good, and great. And the timeline or the time frame for receiving an award for under the Emergency Rental Assistance Program is really contingent on the quality of the application, and more importantly, getting all of the documentation all at one time. If folks submit the documentation that is required, we can relatively move quickly through an application. And or if you are an individual that is been served and possibly looking at eviction, we will prioritize your application and try to get you assistance as quickly as possible to mitigate that eviction notice. Where it takes a little bit more time and difficult to put a time frame on is when we have to go back and forth with the applicant to secure the documentation. But if you can get us all the documentation we need as quickly as possible, we will do our very best to be able to make the award. Understanding that when we launched the program, we had up to 8,000 people, 8,000 people apply all at one time. So it kind of built a little backlog, if you will. So we're working through those diligently, and we are executing on a FIFO, first in, first out. But if there is a need to prioritize your application, we do provide you the opportunity to let us know that. But we expect that we will get you an answer as quickly as we possibly can in the most efficient and effective way.
Awesome. And so I just wanted to, I guess, go back to if you happen to be in a situation where you're, being evicted, or, you feel like you're about to be evicted and this is something that you need, you need that kind of priority, hey, I need to be on a priority list or whatever, because I may be evicted soon. I just wanted to share a resource that's out there. Not only is New Mexico Legal Aid's website extremely helpful with all of these kinds of renters' rights issues. They're experts in this area and are working really hard to get people the help they need in terms of just kind of legal counsel and representation. So if you have any questions about evictions or just renters' rights in general, I would highly recommend going to New Mexico Legal Aid's website. I just shared that in the chat. If we want to share that on Facebook as well. But that's a resource that you should know about and that is out there.
Michael, can I take this moment and thank you for that. We are working really well with the district courts in ascertaining weekly a list of folks that have been served in eviction, and more importantly, really working hard to be able to get them to apply for our program. We are communicating with judges. Judges are willing to take a hard look at their final decision of eviction contingent on whether or not folks have applied for our program. They are asking us to train their case managers on the application process, so their case managers with each respective court can help folks make the application for our program, for the ERAP program. They are giving us access to the courtroom, so we can have one of our staff persons actually listen in on the court hearings to get the latest information, the amount of money that is owed, and more importantly, really connect all of the dots so that ultimately we have folks that are going through the eviction process apply for the program, but more importantly, receiving an award and hopefully mitigate the fear of being evicted.
Yeah, the people over at New Mexico Legal Aid are rock stars. So head on over there. You're welcome for the shout out, New Mexico Legal Aid. Okay, so I have, so you're gonna have to forgive me, Amanda. I must have been reading comments or questions, but I just want to revisit this question because I didn't hear the answer. Does citizenship status, what role does that play in eligibility for this program? Again, I apologize for not having caught that the first time.
For citizenship for our program, you don't have to be a U.S. citizen either. It's just that the dwelling has to be in the state of New Mexico to apply for the Homeowner Assistance Fund.
Gotcha. Sorry for having to ask that again. All right, cool. I don't see any other questions in the Zoom chat. Julissa, do we have any questions on Facebook?
No, I think that's it for questions.
All right, well, there's nothing wrong with that, but if you do have additional questions, we can still, oh, we do have a question, 1 second. All right, okay, good question. If someone owns a triplex and lives in one unit and then rents out the other two, are they eligible under a variety of circumstances?
Are they eligible for housing assistance or are they eligible for rental assistance?
I think for both. I would.
Yeah, okay.
Because if they own the triplex, then and they would need assistance. It's a good question. I was going to ask this. I was just thinking, like trying to think of what situation that would look like. But yeah, so if they own the triplex, right, and they live in one unit, but they rent out the other two, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
For owner occupants of units that are 4 or less, they may be eligible, but the rental income from the other two would be considered income and a part of determining eligibility.
Okay.
Yep. And for the emergency rental assistance program, the other 2 units, they would have to actually have the tenants of each respective unit would have to be eligible and be able to receive benefits for the program.
Right. Okay, cool. Got it. All right. Seeing no other questions, and if there are other questions, happy to answer them. But seeing no other questions, I would just like to thank everybody, as always, for joining us this evening and just for helping share this information, right? It's super, super important. People really need to know about this stuff. And on top of that, we need to get this money out of the door. So share this information with the communities, and please remember to visit the New Mexico Homeowner Assistance Fund website at the link that I'm about to pop in the chats here soon, and also in the Facebook comments. And so you're going to want to go to renthelpnm.org to apply for rental assistance, and you're going to want to go to the Homeowner Assistance Fund page to apply for those for that particular program. And also remember, we shared our email addresses for a reason. So please feel free to reach out to Donnie or myself at the email addresses that were provided on the slide presentation. In the chat, if we can pop those in the chat, that would be awesome. In the Facebook comments also, that would be great. And then also one more quick reminder, if you didn't catch the last session, that we're going to be hosting a training session for, that goes over this program as well as the rental assistance program that's specifically geared towards organizations and providers that want to help their communities understand and apply for the program. So that's going to happen sometime in early July. The date is still being worked out, but stay tuned, stay with us. Check out our Facebook page. Again, we're the Santa Fe Housing Action Coalition. We're going to be hosting all these events, and so you can find every update and others on our Facebook page. You can also follow us on Instagram, and you can, if you feel like it, you can follow my Twitter account at MICBARRIO for the latest updates. I share everything. So make sure to just monitor progress and updates on those channels for the next sessions. And again, thank you to everyone that was able to join us tonight. Special thanks to Donnie and Amanda and our wonderful interpreter, Ruth, and everybody over at Media Desk for making all of this happen and working so hard to get this money to the families that need it. So thank you all again, and have a wonderful evening and a happy Thursday.
Thank you so much, Michael. My pleasure. Bye-bye now. Thank you.
Thank you.